Where I live, we often have issues with rain, and I've been fascinated over the years as I've grown to understand what rain helps us with. I've been fascinated when I've seen weeks of heavy rain followed by taps that are dry. Commit yourself to preparation. The moment you begin to pray, you start to prepare. I want you to think about those things. What is it that you have done to prepare for those things that you are asking for? There was a time in my life when I lived in constant defeat. I mean, if losing was a person, it was this guy here. And that's because I really thought that life was all about effort. I thought if you try harder, if you push harder, if you pray a little more, then things will begin to happen for you and doors will open. But what I didn't understand was this concept of favor with God and favor with people. You see, the Bible says that Jesus grew in stature and in favor with God and favor with people. And in that season of my life, I had to learn that there are principles and systems that we engage in order to unlock this favor with God and favor with people. It is not random. And the book I wish I could have read at that time is the book that I had to write myself. It is Unlocking Favor with God and People. It is a 30-day devotional that is written in very simple fashion, which is how I prefer to read books. So if you go to pologoglobal.com or Amazon, if you are anywhere else outside of South Africa, you'll be able to get yourself a copy of this book, gifted to a loved one as well. I promise you it is worth the read. God bless you, my friend. What if I told you that you are the reason why your prayers are not being answered? What if I told you that it's your own fault, that many of the prayers you pray are not being answered? We're going to talk about that in just a moment. My friend, welcome to another episode of Align with Pologo. My name is Pologo, and at this point, you should know that I believe in Christianity that is practical, Christianity that actually produces results, where we ask the right questions, the tough questions. Why is it that my prayers are not being answered? Why is it that I keep asking and asking and asking? The Bible says ask, and I'm asking, but I'm not receiving. What's the issue? Maybe the problem is that what you call faith is only wishful thinking. Maybe the problem is that what you call faith is simply just crossed fingers that things happen your way. That, my friend, is not faith. That is not faith. The Bible says about Noah in Hebrews 11, verse 7, it says, by faith, Noah, when warned about things not yet seen, in holy fear, built an ark to save his family. By his faith, he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness that is in keeping with faith. He did the work even before he saw what was spoken of. Before he had physical, tangible evidence, he did the work. Faith prepares for what it expects. I want you to understand this, that faith prepares for what it expects. And if you are not preparing for it, stop kidding yourself. You do not have the faith for it. If you are not preparing for it right now, stop kidding yourself. You are not believing that God will do it. You can say whatever you want about it, but as long as you are not preparing, you are not expecting. I want you to think of it like this for a moment. Imagine, if you will, if you had some visitors who are coming to your house. Some of us, you remember when you were younger, and some of you do this with your children today, where when you have visitors coming, even though this house has been messy for the past 3 days, today something will be done about it. Why? Because I'm expecting visitors. See, yesterday you didn't mind because you were not expecting anyone to come by. But the fact that you are now expecting someone leads you and compels you to prepare the house for them, to the point where you even want the children's rooms to be clean because you're expecting someone. Expectation is the very evidence that you have faith. Right? Or rather, preparation. Preparation is the very evidence that you have faith, that you are expecting something. You're not expecting if you are not preparing. In Unlocking Favor with God and People, I share this analogy. Imagine, if you will, two farmers who are both in tough times because there is a drought. The ground is dry. The skies are not showing any sign of rain coming soon. There's no rain in the forecast. Both of them are desperate for rain, and so both of them begin to pray for rain. They even have night vigils where they pray through the night. Both of them pray with an equal amount of words because they both attend the very same church under the same teacher. Everything is all the same. But the difference between them is that one of them is preparing the ground while they are praying. So he goes out there, he works the ground, and he sows some seed in the ground as a way of saying, God, I am believing you for rain. And that is why I am putting my seed in the ground. It is because I am believing you for rain. Do you know what happens? On the day that it rains, the farmer who was sowing seed begins to rejoice, while the one who was not sowing seed begins to weep. The rain becomes an inconvenience to him. The rain causes mud and nothing else that is good because he was not preparing. He did not have seed in the ground. And right now it is mighty difficult for him to go out there in the middle of the rain and try to sow seed. And so there is his neighbor in the distance rejoicing and dancing. Why? Because he was prepared. He had seed in the ground, but he didn't have seed in the ground. And I'm telling you now that the problem with a lot of Christians is that even if God gave you everything that you are asking for right now, you are not prepared. You keep asking for a husband, you keep asking for a wife, and you are not prepared for one. And so when you get them, the inevitable end is divorce, a messy divorce where your life will be worse than what it was before you got married because you asked for something that you were not prepared for. For a lot of people, they received money that they thought would change their lives for the better, but because they had not dealt with themselves internally and put disciplines in place to deal with their vices, to deal with the lust, to deal with the addictions, all that happened was that the addictions and the vices were amplified and they began to ruin their lives. And the man had more access to drugs than he ever has before, and it ruins his life beyond recognition. It would have been better for him to not get the money. You prepare for what you are asking for. And so a loving father wouldn't give you what you are not prepared to handle. You see, a loving parent would not give you money that you are not prepared to handle. A loving parent would not give you resources that you are not prepared to steward faithfully. You must go through preparation. How are you preparing right now for what you claim to be expecting? I told you in the last episode, listen, a mother begins to prepare the room, prepare herself, prepare her schedule because she's expecting a child. But a person who simply just wishes does not have the same level of preparation because they are not expecting. What are you expecting right now? I want you to look at your prayer list. I want you to look at the things that you are praying for, the things that you've been asking other people to pray for, right? To pray with you for. Think about it. I want you to think about those things. What is it that you have done to prepare for those things that you are asking for? Let me read this for you from Unlocking Favor with God and People. Faith is not passive. It does not sit, wait, and hope. Real faith moves. It prepares, it builds, it invests. It takes action in alignment with the unseen promise, right? Faith takes action in alignment with the unseen promise. There is a man called Elijah who prays for rain in 1 Kings chapter 18. We see Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 18 in verse 41. And to give you some context here, there had not been rain on the land for over 3 years. For over 3 years, it has not rained once. And Elijah now says, it's about to rain. He says it's about to rain even though there hasn't been rain in the last 3 years. And he doesn't say this because the clouds are dark. He doesn't say this because there is a forecast saying that there is rain. He says this because in the spirit, he caught something. Here's what it says. Verse 41 says, Then Elijah said to Ahab, Go get something to eat and drink, for I hear a mighty rainstorm coming. I hear a mighty rainstorm coming. He's the only one hearing it. It says, So Ahab went to eat and drink. But Elijah climbed to the top of Mount Carmel and bowed low to the ground and prayed with his face between his knees. Then he said to his servant, Go and look out toward the sea. The servant went and looked, then returned to Elijah and said, I didn't see anything. 7 times Elijah told him to go and look. Finally, the 7th time, his servant said, I saw a little cloud about the size of a man's hand rising from the sea. Then Elijah shouted, Hurry to Ahab and tell him, Climb into your chariot and go back home. If you don't hurry, the rain will stop you. If you don't hurry, the rain will stop you. Elijah is making preparation. He tells King Ahab, he says, listen, you need to get ready because there is a rain coming. Go eat and drink so that you are not trapped by the time it starts raining. And when he sees a small little cloud, after 7 times of him saying, let me look for confirmation, and he doesn't see anything, he eventually says, it's about to rain. And he says, Ahab, move now before the rain stops you. When all he saw was a small little cloud. I want you to get this, that faith sees beyond the natural and it prepares for what it expects, and very soon begins to see the evidence of what it expects. Because you see, for a lot of people, they would say there's only a small little cloud. But because he's expecting rain, he sees the cloud as confirmation that it is about to rain. It's about to rain. Here's what it says. Verse 45 says, And soon the sky was black with clouds. A heavy wind brought a terrific rainstorm, and Ahab left quickly for Jezreel. Then the Lord gave special strength to Elijah. He tucked his cloak into his belt and ran ahead of Ahab's chariot all the way to the entrance of Jezreel. There is a rain coming. But what do you do when you believe that there is a rain coming? What do you do? What would it look like for you to claim with genuine words that you believe there is a rain coming? You see, where I live, I live in South Africa, in case you're watching this from different parts of the world. By the way, let us know in the comment section where you're watching this from, even if you're in South Africa. Let us know where you're watching from. But you see, where I live, we often have issues with rain. And I've been fascinated over the years as I've grown to understand what rain helps us with. I've been fascinated when I've seen weeks of heavy rain followed by taps that are dry. I've been fascinated. Weeks and weeks of non-stop rain, but the taps have no water in them. You see, the sky is generous enough to give in abundance, but when you're not prepared for it, the rain merely becomes an inconvenience, causes floods, ruins houses, ruins infrastructure, because the city was not prepared to handle the rain. The city's infrastructure was not prepared for that heavy rain, to contain that heavy rain. And I'm telling you now that for a lot of us, we are in that exact same place where your life is simply not prepared for what you're asking for. You are asking one way, but you are living a completely different way. So you're not prepared for what you're asking for. So forget about it. Just forget about it. Just let it go. Just let it go. Commit yourself to preparation. The moment you begin to pray, you start to prepare. And let me read this for you. Let me read this for you in order to so that I don't quote it wrong. Let's bring it home. You can't say you're believing God for a car if you won't even learn how to drive. Real faith signs up for driving school. It learns how to navigate traffic. It studies fuel consumption and maintenance, not because the car has arrived, but because you believe with all your heart that it's on the way. Faith makes room for before the thing arrives. Believing for a baby, start preparing the nursery. Trusting for a house, start learning about property. Waiting on a spouse, work on your emotional maturity. Expecting to preach or lead, start studying the word diligently. Your behavior reveals your belief. Your behavior reveals your belief. And I want you to listen to this. Preparation speaks volumes in both realms. To God, it says, I trust you enough to get ready. That kind of faith attracts his hand. And to people, it says, I am a steward who values opportunity. That kind of posture unlocks partnership, promotion, and open doors. People don't invest in wishful thinkers. They invest in those who look prepared to handle what they're asking for. God's favor often shows up disguised as opportunity. And when it does, only the prepared will recognize and receive it. Only the prepared will recognize and receive opportunity. You must be prepared. I have had moments in my life that I can say to you embarrassingly, I have lost on opportunities. I have lost opportunities that had my name written on them because I wasn't prepared. As soon as they showed up, I said, oh, yeah, nah, let me just get my papers. If you give me until next week, Tuesday, I'll be able to get it. We need to go now. We need to go now because, my friend, understand that opportunity very often is time sensitive. And so that is why only the prepared are able to seize it because it's time sensitive. So I've lost opportunities where I've said, no, yeah, but I don't have it, but I can get it. I can get it if you just give me 3 days. Now. I want to travel the world, but you don't even have a passport. I'm trusting God for a car. Can't drive. Doesn't have a license. I'm trusting God for my own house. I'm trusting God for a house. But you don't even know what the house looks like. You don't know what it looks like. You're trusting for a job. But you wake up at 11 a.m. on a daily basis, not changing your habits, not changing your daily routine, but somehow believing that, you know what, when it happens, I'll prepare. When it happens, I'll prepare. The moment opportunity shows up, it is too late to prepare. I'll tell you this again, my friend. The moment opportunity shows up, it is too late to prepare. Stay ready. Whatever you are praying for right now, prepare for it. Show God and show people and prove even to yourself that you do indeed believe that this will happen. And if not, just let it go. Pray for something else. Pray for something else that you've prepared for. Pray for something else that you have gotten yourself ready for. Right now, you are just not ready for the thing you're asking for. So, my friend, may God help us. May we learn the value of preparing for what we are asking for. This is Aligned with Bologo.